What is going on, everybody? Welcome back for another REI Genius Masterclass workshop. I'm super excited. I see some good evening. Good evening. What's going on, Rex, Keith, Joel, Andrew, Leon, Kimberly? Thank y'all for coming out tonight and listen today. So tonight we got a really good topic, one that I'm passionate about. Um, Whenever we start talking about multifamily and apartments, because it is a true game changer when it comes to building wealth. And I really love talking about the success that my clients have found, myself, what I found, and just continue to learn. And I think it's a really cool opportunities that are coming. Unfortunately, when we hear to talk about recessions and everything, but when there's pain, there's opportunity. And I think there's you never seen a one-sided slice of paper or one-sided slice of bread or a one-sided sheet of paper. That there's always two sides. You can see the cup is half full or you can see it is half empty. And I think that's one of the things that whenever there's pain, there's always an opportunity. And I think for everybody here, what's up, Henry? What's going on, Rex, Carlos? Whenever you hear pain, I want everybody to your brain to think as a real estate investor, like, okay, where is the opportunity? I want everybody to say, type in the chat, I am an investor. I am an investor. That's the thing that we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about investing at a high level, but I want everybody to understand that you are a real estate investor. Whether you've done your first deal or if you have not done your first deal, you are a real estate investor. And now I'm going to give you guys the skill sets that you need in order to tap into, bring that into reality, because it all starts here in your mind. It all starts in your mind. It all starts with a vision. When you start looking at the iPhone that you have or the television that you watch, the first one that was invented, it started with somebody having an idea in their brain. And then from there, they were able to take that idea and bring it into reality. Because I'm a true believer, it starts with a vision. You look at, everything that God gives us with the natural resources. He doesn't give us tables in nature, but he gives us trees. And he gives us the wisdom and knowledge to take the tree and turn the tree into a table. And that's what we're doing right now. We're going to talk about this multifamily knowledge. We're going to take this knowledge and turn it into wealth and passive income and time freedom and extra resources that we can bless other people with, that we can bless ourselves with and bless our next generation. So that's what it's all about. Let's go ahead and get started tonight. If you can't tell, I'm super excited. I'm Johnny Lynum, the military CEO. For you guys who don't know me, I am a passionate real estate investor, family man. My wife Melissa, shout out to Melissa, everything she's done to get everything together tonight. 3 beautiful kids as well too. And I love talking about real estate. I love talking about real estate and love helping people level up and to get to the point where they can achieve success for themselves and for their family. I see we got a lot of investors in the house. All right, let's go. All right, so I talk a little bit about me. Originally from Alabama. You hear me talking a lot about on the multifamily side. I'm bullish. I'm doubling down on the state of Alabama for a lot of different reasons we'll talk about. But grew up in Lower Alabama, the other LA, about an hour north of Mobile in the sticks. Joined the Air Force at the college, University of Alabama, graduate, electrical engineering degree, Roll Tide, and been on active duty now for a little bit over 17 years. And it's been an amazing journey. Done a whole lot of different jobs, deployed a couple of times and, done all kind of program management type positions. I would say the pinnacle of my career was a senior captain where I was running a $1.2 billion development contract. And that's billion with the B. I know it's crazy. At like 30 years old. And, for me, that was kind of the pivotal point. We'll talk about a little bit about where I was, from a career-wise perspective, that I made that shift over to real estate. Wrote a book, Millionaire Real Estate Success Strategy. You can see there on the top right. For those that stick with me tonight, I'm going to have a special gift for you guys where you can actually get a PDF. You get a free copy of the book tonight. For those that hang around to the end, I'm going to give you the link, hook you guys up with that. But we've grown our portfolio over the last few years and to the tune now over $10 million. We got another 20 unit that we'll be closing on later this month. And just continue to grow. And I think that's what it's all about. And my outward-facing company is Operation Restore that operates in the Panama City, Florida area across the state of Alabama, where we help motivated home sellers or motivated sellers that are looking to sell a house, that Operation Restore is that vehicle that we use, our company, where we go in, we meet with homeowners, we help solve their problems, and we buy real estate off market. Operation Invest is kind of our investment arm where we look to raise capital, but then also doing deals on our multifamily side kind of come in up under that umbrella. So a lot of moving pieces there. And all this is driven by, why we buy real estate and, the family side. I have a picture of my family up there, but that's the reason why I do all this stuff. It's the reason why I still work for the Air Force full-time active duty all these years, but I still have my business buying real estate. And if you guys stay to the end, I already told you that I'm gonna hook you guys up with a free copy of my book, so you can take that and just kind of read. And I really love the book and the feedback that I've got, because I got a chance to interview over 30 real estate investors and just capture their stories and kind of bring those together with my own. And boom, there's a lot of experience that's captured in those pages to get you going. Get a good job and save your money. Somebody drop a 1 in the chat if they heard that before. If your parents ever told you, or you heard somebody, older than you when you was growing up say, hey, you need to go get you a good job and you got to save some money. That's it. Go have a good life. That's what you need to go do. And for me, that was the information that I was working for. It's like, hey, you go ahead, the Air Force is going to pay for you to go to college. They're going to set you up for success long term. And then boom, hey, save 10 cents out of every dollar, put 10% back. You get to pay your tithes, get a church at 10%, and boom, you got 80% to go out there and do some damage with. And and so I went off that process and with that mindset that, hey, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get a good job and I'm gonna save my money, and I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna live the American dream. Get a decent job and save my money, and everything's gonna line up perfect. And that sets you up on a path for the next cliche. Y'all drop a 2 in the chat if you heard this one. Work until you're 62 years old, then you retire, and then you can start living. Then you can go take the vacation to Europe and go to Europe for 2 or 3 weeks at a time. Then you can go down to Aruba or the Bahamas and hang out after you retire. Then you can go and volunteer at the nonprofit. All that stuff that now you can start living your life after the age of 62. I'm like, hold on. And you telling me I got to put my money in the stock market on Wall Street. I invest my money there, put a little bit back, 10% each month, my whole life, and then 62, then I can retire. But if I need my money before I get 62, they're gonna penalize me to take my money out the account. If I need the money for something else, I'm like, what? I'm like, hold on. So they say put the money in here, like, oh yeah, you can't touch it until you're 59 and a half. I'm like, hold on, that don't sound right. You mean I gotta put my money there and give them my money for 30 years, and then I come back, and then I can retire, I can access my money without penalty. Oh, by the way, and then when I pull my money, I gotta pay taxes on it too. I'm like, okay, something's got to give. And I think that's the thing that got me going on financial freedom. I stumbled into real estate, using my VA loan with my first duty station after being there a year, and then moving on to the opportunity that I had with another fellow lieutenant buddy of mine. Shout out to Nick Battle. Nick Battle, he hit me up. He was like, J2, I found a great property, man. It's a duplex. He's like, I'm gonna buy a side and you're gonna buy a side. And man, hey, we're gonna rent this sucker out when we leave. I'm like, all right, cool. And for those that that read my book, they know my story. When I joined the military, that my credit was screwed up coming out of college. I had to actually have a family member sign on my lease for my first apartment. Super humbling feeling. And for me, and I started working on my credit after that. And luckily, I was in a position when he came around with that opportunity where I was prepared. And I think that's one of the things when you hear and look at everything we talk about tonight, it's all about preparation. Everything that you've done up until your life, up until this point, has prepared you for your future. But what is it going to take for you to get to the other side? And I think that's one of the pieces that we don't realize, because we're in the moment, we're in the day that you don't realize it. So that's the picture right there, that one side of that duplex that I purchased there, where it all started. I actually sold that property at the beginning of this year. I always kind of look and assess, and we're always looking at our portfolio and making decisions on what stays, what sells. We were coming up on having to replacing the roof, replacing the HVAC, the carpet. The tenant that had been in there, she had been in there for 11 years. When I left that property in January 2010, I've never set foot back inside of again, over 13 years. And but that's the power of real estate. and being able to have, cash flow and passive income coming in for these assets that allows you to do that. But that's a little bit about me and kind of how I got started. For me, the pivotal point was, you leave it out at the pinnacle of my career and looking at it, it was like, okay, can I position myself to go 30 years in the military? And the thing with it, when it came down to it, it was like, okay, does it get any better than this? This is a picture of me and my team in Afghanistan outside of one of the ISR aircraft that we supported. One of the best times in my life, being able to drive that mission. But it gave me the framework that we're going to talk about tonight. Because for the find, fix, finish, and everything that we do and the approach that we take to real estate, that is really, really simple when you get down to it. A lot of times, you all may have been in other forums, seminars, where people talk about real estate and they make it super, super complicated. But at the root of it, it's simple. We're using 5th grade math. And, it's simple. You find a house, you find a property, you fix it. And then whatever your exit strategy is, you finish it up. You're going to refinance it or you're going to sell it or somewhere in between. And it's really that simple when you come down to it. It doesn't have to be all complicated and then people make it intimidating. And I think they do it a disservice. But for me, it was, okay, what do I need to do now to make that pivot? And for me, I had to start, with creating my next generation and building that generational wealth. For me, was start my own fix and flip business with my wife. We made the decision. She wasn't going back to work after we had our first kid. And it was like, hey, it's more important for you to stay home, be the nucleus of the household, take care of them. And we'll figure the money stuff out. And so that was the thing, getting started, that a lot of people, they have the limited mindset, the limiting beliefs that I got to have a lot of money. I got to have a little money to get started. And for me, I had to have that transformation. And we all have to go to that transformation in order to get to where we want to be in life. Because everything that you know and everything that you got up until this point is a byproduct of the information that you have and for the knowledge that you have today. But to go to the next level, I want somebody to check. Y'all have to participate with me tonight. Because I really love when we start talking about investing, that we got to go to the next level. I want y'all to type in the chat. I can't see faces, but I want you to type in the chat next level. Because in order for you to go to the next level, that you're going to have to change your habits. You're going to have to change some of the people that you're around. You're going to have to change the person. You're not even going to recognize who you are when you start looking in the mirror a year from now, if you make the commitment to change your life. And I think that's the thing that we got to realize to get to where we want to be, that we're going to have to change who we are today, because everything that's gotten you this far isn't going to get you to where you want to be. And so that was the thing. Faith and doubt are both beliefs. One belief is in favorable results and the other doesn't. And that's the thing. If you believe that you can do something, you're right. If you don't believe that you can do something, you're right. And so, and that's the thing that we got to realize, that we got to start telling ourselves better stories, because the positivity and the faith and belief in ourselves is what's going to get us to that next level. Because guess what? Manifestation without work, it ain't going to happen. You got to put in the work. You got to put in the work. And, and for me to go through, flipping the houses, the moving with the Air Force, buying foreclosures, renting them out when I'm leaving, and going through that whole process, I had to go through numerous transformations. I had to go from the bad credit, can't get an apartment building, to being a homeowner. Then from there, I had to go from homeowner moving and now get my first rental property. And then from there, it went from, okay, how do I buy my first $25,000 rental off Avenue K in Birmingham, to now, in 2015, when we started our fix and flip business, to start going through and fixing and repairing houses. And then tonight, we're going to talk about how, even from that point with the fix and flips, and how setting up that business, and how I had to go through another transformation to do our first multifamily deal. And that's what we're about to get into tonight. So right now, so you can see the refinance closing day. We're going to talk about the Lynum deal. That was our first deal, 18 units. A crazy, crazy story behind that one. We picked up another 3 units last year in Montgomery, Alabama. Shout out to my partner, Reggie Reynolds. If you guys don't know, one of my coaching clients last year, they actually found the Montgomery deals. They brought the deals in, and we put a heck of and that's a whole nother story. We're going to just talk about my first one today. We're not going to talk about the 3 we picked up last year in Montgomery. And then we got another 20 that's under contract that we're about to close later this month. And it's just been a phenomenal blessing. And I'm a true believer that real estate will change your life. And like my dad always told me, if you take care of business, business will take care of you. And guess what? We all here tonight that's online. You're watching, you're in here tonight. Y'all, we're setting ourselves up to take care of business. That's what we're doing. We're coming to go to work tonight. We're about to go to that next level. So my first multifamily deal, so it was an 18 unit, Panama City, Lynum Street apartments. You had 4 quadplexes, and then you had 1 duplex. And you know, I found this deal. It was crazy story. So we were in Panama City. We moved there August of 2017. I got hit with orders to deploy October of 17. Left out March of 18. Got back September of 18. And about 3 weeks after I got back, Hurricane Michael hit. Category 5 hurricane. We were displaced 6 months, living in Airbnbs, hopping around on the beach. We lived in Destin for about 2 months. Then after the Christmas holiday, we moved back to Panama City Beach and hopped around on Airbnbs for a couple of months there until March. Got started once we got back overnight, y'all. It was crazy that we had thousands of dilapidated houses in Panama City. We're still, to this day, it's been over 4 years, we're still buying hurricane damaged homes. And so that setback, what we thought with the devastation, you know, my son, my third child, was born 5 days after the hurricane in Mobile, you know, hopping around Airbnb with a newborn baby. And, you know, we were still working the mission, getting the mission back online. I was commuting an hour each way to go into work and everything. So it was just crazy. And then, you know, like, okay, and trying to start up to get the business going off the ground, but we were able to do it. And that perseverance, grit, I talk about that in my book, that if you're going to get in a real estate investor, you got to have grit. You got to be able to persevere, because it's just a matter of time. Stuff is going to happen. Life is going to happen. But we already know whether we're doing what we want to do and we're trying to live on purpose and accomplish our dreams, whether or not we're doing that or not, life's going to happen. So we might as well try to live our dreams out and try to accomplish what it is that we want to do in life, because guess what? Life is still going to happen regardless of what we're doing. But the crazy part with the story was we got going. Man, we had 3 houses under contract going into April of 2019. And May 1st at PT, goofing off, just playing basketball, pickup game, playing horse, and tore my ACL. Had surgery at the end of May, had these houses under contract and everything, going through that process. So lo and behold, I tried, you know, I had learned probably a year before that, you know, the importance of networking, going to these seminars, meeting other investors, and just getting out of my bubble, you know, even though, because we did the fix and flips, we, you know, this kind of bootstrap. We started just one house at a time, and then eventually we started bringing on private investors. It started growing, you know, family members started seeing us on social media and other people, and then it just kind of took off. But up until then, you know, after I tore my ACL, I didn't go to any professional development. October that year was a multifamily conference in Orlando. My sister lives down there. Like, boom, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. The kids can hang out. I can go to the conference, and it's all good. So went there, and when I say it was a life-changing event, it was a life-changing event, y'all, that it allowed me to see the next level, that it wasn't that far off, that everything that I had accomplished, it had been a perfect setup. And that, guess what? These people that are buying apartment deals, that's doing the multifamily deals, they're no different than me and you. They're no different than any of us. They all put their hands on one leg at a time. Guess what? They all jump in their car, one leg, one foot before the other. And they're really down to earth people. They got a little bit more knowledge than I had. A little bit more knowledge than you had. You're getting a lot of it tonight. I can't give it all in an hour, but I realized that, hey, there's different ways to get these deals done, and that you can't have limiting beliefs, because everything that had brought me to that point, I had limited beliefs about money. You got to work hard for money. You got to trade your time for money. And I had a scarcity mindset. And so when I left that conference, it went away. And it was crazy. E.T., the hip hop preacher, was one of the guest speakers there. And you know how E.T. is. E.T.'s over the top. You know, we talking about people in suits, you know, they're in their khakis and everything. And he wasn't getting any crowd participation. So I'm like, man, I'm hyped. I'm like, this E.T. I'm like, man, y'all must don't know. Y'all must don't want it. You know, you got to want it as much as you want to breathe. And so I started participating in the audience. And he was like, hey, you need to get a property. He's like, how many kids you got? I just got 3. He's like, you got to get a property for your wife, and you got to get one for each one of your kids. And I was like, cool. And then we started speaking names. And he was like, what's your wife name? I was like, Melissa. All right. He's like, what's your oldest child? I'm like, Johnny, Mackenzie, Jace. He's like, all right, everybody got to get one. And he was like, boom. He's like, all right, so you got to get 5 apartments. He said, how much time do you want to get them apartments? I said, man, give me 5 years. I'm going to get one each year. 5 years. He's like, all right, let's go. 5 years. It's crazy that when I think about it, when we close on this 20 unit, the end of this month is going to be 5 apartment building. And we're talking about 3 years. And that I'm telling y'all that this stuff, that if you put your mind to it and you're faithful to the process, that you can achieve your wildest dreams. I would have never thought that I would say that I own 5 apartment buildings in just 3 years from when that happened, back in 2020. And, and it was just the craziest part, from when we bought that first one, March 2020, we're about to talk about that tonight. And, now to coming in March of 23, right at 3 years, we're like 2 months past the 3-year mark. That is crazy. But it all started with my mindset, with saying that I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Y'all, when I left that conference 45 days later, I put my letter of intent in to purchase this 18 unit. They had it listed for $1.35 million. We put an offer in at $1 million. We ended up coming in at $1,050,000. What we ended up selling that, and it was great. Half the units had been updated. There was 4 units that were completely down from the hurricane. There was 4 units that didn't get damaged at all, that were legacy from the 80s when it was built, that hadn't been updated. And and so we went in with a game plan. And so we knew that the pain point for them, they owned another business in town, and they hadn't been paying attention to the property. A contractor had ran off with money, and so they were just over it. And they were retirement age. I know you can't see the numbers on the slide, but we went through, we underwrote it. I'm going through, it's crazy. The wife and I, we was talking, this was a couple of weeks ago, that I was in the truck, and I called a broker that had a listing, and I was like, yep, we want to put an offer in for $1 million. And she's like, when I got the phone, she's like, you just put an offer in for $1 million. I was like, yeah, it's crazy. And, but it felt right. And I knew it was like, I did my underwriting, I did my due diligence. I know there's no way I can screw this up. If I can buy this for $1 million and what the market rent is, then there's no way that I can screw this up. So we went through, put the letter of intent together. I did my underwriting, and we let them know. It still took us a little bit over 3 months to get under contract. We walked in January. This was a little bit before Christmas. We finally walked in January. It still took them about 6 weeks to go through before we went back and forth and actually got the contract signed. But while we were going through the due diligence, because one of the things when we walked in January, we saw that there was the caution barriers in the street, and it was a puddle of water there. So I'm like, what's going on with that? And so it was an issue with a water leak that obviously that was there. So the owner, they had to pay like $31,000 in order to get the water leak fixed. And so that was one of the things that held us up with closing. We did close in June, whereas that it was like, hey, I don't want to take that risk. Where they were like, hey, well, we'll just give you the money since they're backed up, and we give you the money and you get it fixed after we close. And I'm like, nah, bro, we gonna get this fixed. We gonna get this laid out. Everybody gonna have their water on. Everybody gonna be working when we close on the dotted line. And so we had to wait a little while for them to actually get the work done. But you'll see that we had a shout out to Extreme Plumbing. They was on point. I learned so much about that process, working with the city, with the plumbing. I was out there after work in my uniform, stopping by, hey, checking on the progress. They were in the back. They wouldn't let me get on the backhoe. I was like, man, let me get a shot for social media. Let me get on the backhoe and do some digging or whatever. But they wouldn't let me do that. But they were real cool. And I just kind of learned about their process, about them working with the city and just how all that back and forth went. And then, of course, we got the appraisal and everything else to go through. Y'all know y'all got to do your due diligence when you get these properties. We talk about that. You got to do your due diligence and make sure that you're buying an asset that's one, that the maintenance has been kept up on it. And if it hadn't been kept up on it, that's okay. That's fine. But that's where we got to hit them with the price. And we got to account for that in the price. So we went through that whole process, the financing with this deal. Somebody say the money. So I want somebody to say, where is my money? You got to know where the money is. Right now, I'm telling y'all need to have at least 2 or 3 lenders ready to go. The credit is tightening up right now across the board. So you want to have as many lenders in your back pocket that you have a relationship with as possible, because you want to be able to move with speed. Speed. Success loves speed, and you got to move with speed. So we had a really good relationship with our lender here, our local credit union. Credit unions are the best. One of the things that I tell you guys, give you some game, is that credit unions keep their loans on their books. They don't sell their loans to Wall Street. They keep them on their books, and the loans are approved by committee. And the business development guy, the VP, the rep for small business or whatever, they come in there and they're like, hey, Johnny's a good dude. We financed a couple of his single family portfolio with the refinance with the projects that he's done. He's got X amount on deposit with us. He manages these properties. He's like, boom, all right, cool. He's like, I vote that we do the deal. We finance the apartment building for him. And the 8 other people at the table, they raise their hand like, yep, cool, let's do it. Give them the money. And that's it. That's it. And it was mind-boggling. Y'all, who ever been through some pain with getting their personal residence, whether it's a VA loan, a FHA, a conventional loan? Man, I got some story. That's a whole nother 2-hour masterclass with some of the pain I done went through with Wells Fargo and dealing with some of these other banks. Man, I tell you, especially when you got real estate and you own assets and you ain't got no cookie cutter, tax returns. Oh man, it's crazy. It's crazy. But through it all, it wasn't nobody but the good Lord, And I tell you, so the thing is, I told y'all we bought it for $1,050,000. That we ended up getting debt for $840,000. 4% interest rate. It resets every 5 years, and then it's a 15-year term. And so with $840K, we had to bring $210,000 roughly to the table for closing. And we did the appraisal. And so with the appraisal came back that after repair, after we bring those 4 units up that were down, that the value would be at $1.34 million. And like, okay, cool. We buy it for $1,050,000. We actually took over the insurance claim. The insurance claim gave us $50,000. We ended up having to put another 20 with it. So it was $70,000 to turn those 4 units over. And lo and behold, we were able to execute our business plan and get it done. So what did we do? So the $210,000, I didn't have to bring all the money to the table. I brought over half of it, but I ended up raising $95K. I brought on 5 investors to raise their money. I gave them a 7% return on a 2-year note. And at the end of the 2 years was the refinance milestone. And so at the end of those 2 years, I was going to give them $20,000 that we would split based off pro rata, kind of based off of their contribution to that $95K. And so it ended up working well. They got a 34% return on their money in 2 years. Myself and 2 other buddies of mine came in with the ownership group, and it was all good. And so I ended up owning 77% of the complex. Partner number 1, he raised $75,000. He owned I gave him 18%, and then I had a college buddy of mine. He put in $20K, and I gave him 5% ownership. And after we closed, so I had the bright idea, since I knew I was leaving, coming back to the DC area. I'm like, man, I'm gonna run this property and manage it myself for 6 months. Man, oh man, what experience. No, it wasn't all bad. This was in the, so we closed June of 2020, 3 months after COVID hit. And so it was definitely a process. You can see my kids there. Can somebody say family business? This family business. Your kids go with me everywhere. I got my kids underwriting one of my deals right now. I got my kids, they invested their money. I let them invest $100 and I'm gonna 10x their return on there. But they got the promissory notes and all this stuff. That's what that just reminded me. Family business, y'all. This is family business. But I self-managed 6 months. We got the insurance claim, gave us $51K that we brought in to do the renovation. During the pandemic, we were at 92% collection rate. We had 2 residents that got impacted by COVID. So it wasn't really bad. The big thing, so I always talk about taxes. You got to keep your money in your pocket. It's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you can keep. And one of the things, the most powerful things when you start talking about multifamily is the ability to do cost segregation and be able to pull forward depreciation. And with this one, so I told y'all we had to put down $210,000. I brought a little bit over $110 to the table to close. That we got $170,000 write off that first year for depreciation loss that we can take. And then if talk to your CPA. For those that do real estate full time, you can get the real estate professional designation. Or if you have a spouse who does over 750 hours a year real estate, They can have the designation, and guess what? It allows you to wipe out your active income. So if you got a regular day job, you can wipe out some of that income too with that loss that's tied to your real estate to reduce your tax burden. Talk to your CPA about see if you're eligible for a real estate professional designation. But cost segregation, that is one of the most powerful things. When we start talking about like the Montgomery apartments we bought last year, I think we're a little bit over 900,000 for the first year loss. Now over $900,000 write-off loss for depreciation for those units. So I'm telling you guys that this is a crazy strategy. When you start talking about multifamily, you don't have to. When you start talking about Grant Cardone, people talk about syndications. They got thousands and thousands of units that they own like 1% of or 2% of. That you don't have to have units. If you own 100% of a 10 unit or a 12 unit, and you work and pay that off, you already get $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month cash flow after you pay all your expenses. But then you pay that off over 10 years, and now you're bringing in 15,000 passive income that's coming into you from that property. That it doesn't take a lot. All you need is one deal. Somebody say one deal. All you need is one deal. When you start talking about these kind of numbers, you get one deal. And the crazy part of it is we did all this. It took us about a year to get that money from the insurance company, which was fine. We only had 4 units down. But 2 years later, the appraiser originally said that at one point, it was going to appraise for 1.34. So we bought this for $1,050,000. Y'all, August of last year, it appraised for $1.76 million. 1.76 million. Crazy. It was crazy. Just it was crazy with the market, everything that was happening. And rents, we were able to go and get over $100 more than what we underwrote the deal at for our rents. And it was just perfect time. But guess what? You only need one deal. I'm telling y'all, you only need one deal. And guess what? Now you take the refinance, because guess what? Anybody know what's the tax rate that you have to pay on money you get from a refinance from the bank from loan proceeds? What's the tax rate they charge? I'm gonna see if somebody can get it. What's the tax rate that you have to pay on on money that you get from a loan from the bank? Oh, there we go. John's all over. Zero. That's right. You pay zero in taxes. And now I'm gonna tell y'all what the real strategy is. Now you take that capital that you get, that you pay zero in taxes on, that you get from that property, and now you take that money and put it down in deposit, and you go buy 4 more apartment buildings with that money, with the down payment. You do that one time, and it will set you up for life. You only have, right now, that's the thing that I'm trying to tell people. I don't have to buy another piece of real estate the rest of my life. That we good. If we just take care and manage what we got, we good. Because that's the power of leverage and being able to get and understand great deals with real estate and with multifamily. We talked about a little bit the Alabama pivot. Alabama is my market. If somebody got some in the state of Alabama, I want to see it come across our desk. We want to lay eyes on it. We're seeing a lot of deals, and we're just getting ready. We getting ready. We getting warmed up. We're making relationships. We're talking with people, and that's the thing. So I'm definitely bullish on Alabama, and just because the entry cost is so cheap, and we can work directly, build rapport with mom and pop owners. We kind of focus on 40, 50 units and below. And that's the thing. So we got a picture there, myself, Reggie there to the right, my right. The picture then Jermaine, two of my clients, mentees that we went through on the walkthrough. We had the whole team with us. We had the inspectors. We had a property management company out there with us walking. It was crazy for the 40 unit that we picked up last year for $1.925 million, $48,000 a door. It's crazy with the market rents being a little bit over $300 plus increase. That's just going phenomenal. So we're about 15 to 20% through that one right now, and just continue to go through and add value. But that's the thing is, y'all, that this multifamily, that it's a process. It's simple, but it's hard at the same time. And the hard part is just you just got to do the reps. You just got to show up. That consistency beats motivation any day. If you just show up every day, you're gonna find it. You're gonna find it if you just show up. And that's the thing that I want you guys to know, that it's just a process. You go through, you network with brokers to find a deal. You go on Crexy, LoopNet, Zillow. You religiously go on there every morning. You're looking for deals, new deals to hit the market. You're talking to brokers. You're talking to real estate agents. Whether it's 4 or 5 agents a day. You're going through and having those conversations to get the deal flow. You underwrite it. You understand what's going on in the community, the zip code, the jobs, the population growth, and you get the deal done. You talk to a few people to bring in on your deals, to get the money. Talk to a couple of banks. You close. You find you a competent property management company, or you get ready to start your own property management company or whatever to manage the deal, and then you're off to the races. But it all starts with the deal. It all starts with the first deal. It all starts with taking action and moving out on it. So that's the thing that I just want to encourage you guys that I'm not no more special than you guys. I just made a decision that, hey, I'm about to go buy an apartment building. I'm about to do it. And I aligned with the right people. I was looking and I was putting in the work. And when the opportunity presented itself, I was ready. I was prepared. And that's the thing that you realize, because everybody's been there. You know whether it's your day job, different situations that's happened in your life, whereas that you understood the assignment, you prepared yourself, and when the opportunity was there, you was ready to seize it. You was ready to seize the opportunity. And this is no different with real estate, that if you're ready, you're serious about it, that good things are going to happen. If you align with the right people, you're aligned with the right process, get the right knowledge, then success is right around the corner. If you consistently show up and you're going to take action and make it happen, because none of this is, and I know Reggie will tell you, nobody, it's no difference. No, so it's not set for no select person. You got to have a degree to do this. No, you just got to have the faith in yourself, the faith in God, and the confidence in yourself. And then the ability to have people around you, your network, that's going to support you and hold you up. Whereas that you can't fall back. In the Air Force, we say, no airman left behind. You got to have your wingman right there. And so that's the thing that it is, that going into this for the longest, when I was flipping houses, with our business, like I had no other entrepreneurs that I could lean upon. I didn't have nobody that I could really talk to, because I didn't have any real estate investors in my family. I didn't have, my dad was an entrepreneur. He had his business, but it was a different type of business. And so some of that stuff that you really don't have anybody to talk to, and it gets lonely. You don't understand what decisions that you made. You need somebody just to talk to, that say, hey, oh yeah, I've been through that, man. It's cool. This is what you need to do. Oh yeah, I went through that. And so just being able to do that you just don't know how it is with the community. And so I know I've talked with a couple of people in the last couple of days that were just asking like, hey, I see what you're doing with your clients. I see what you're doing with the real estate and your personal portfolio. Like, hey, how can I work with you? What that looks like. And that's the thing. I wanted to open up kind of the invitation with you guys. I know we got the boot camp coming up, but for those that's looking for a community, that's looking for somebody for the mentor role that can help kind of go through and guide that accountability, but then also walking through, hey, is this a good statement of work for my contractor? How much should I give my contractor up front? This just happened on the job site. What should I do? I just underwrote this. What is this a good deal or not? But the thing is that, from all these years going through, you don't have to know everything. And you got to build wealth. I was talking to somebody today. There's 3 things that you got to have to build wealth. Y'all don't take away nothing. Take away this, that build wealth. You got to either figure out how to cut your expenses, or you got to figure out how to raise your income. One of the two. Whereas now you got more discretionary income that you can invest. 2, the next thing that you got to end up doing is you got to figure out how you can get really, really good at something. You got to become great at something. It doesn't have to be real estate investing. It could be, being a business owner, open up a bakery shop, an e-commerce store, something. You got to get really, really good at something. Too many times, and I've seen this, I got really, really good at flipping houses. And I got to the point that I got really good, I could do it virtually. That I didn't have to be there. But I was good at leadership and putting teams together and being able to verify and work with people. And so I think that's the thing that a lot of times we go from, I want to wholesale. I want to do apartments. I want to fix and flip. I want to do whatever it is. I want to buy RV parks, and which is cool and it's fine, but you got to get really, really good at something. You got to put in the reps, the 10,000 hours, they say, to be a master at something. You got to figure out what it is that you want to be really good at, and then go all in on it. And once you be able to come in like that, because it's all about being at value, because now you're a person of value, you're able to add value, and you're going to be rewarded for that value that you're able to put in. And then the third component of building wealth is just time, y'all. It's time. that, you know, you build wealth over time. It's a process. It's a marathon. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It's something that goes with time. And the longer that time goes by, with you're adding these assets, you're paying down your debt over time. And, you know, you add one house here, you add one apartment a year to your portfolio. Next thing you know, 5-10 years, you know, if you've added, you know, $10 million worth of real estate, 10 years, you pay down the debt sum. But guess what? What if it's appreciated 30%? What's 30% of 10 million? So now you've got an extra $3 million, and say you paid down your principal 500,000. You got 3.5 million that you can tap into tax free. You know, you pull $2 million out. Can you live on $2 million for 3 or 4 years? Of course. And guess what? Like I talked about these deals that we did. A couple of these deals were 100% seller finance. But if you don't know how to talk to somebody, you don't know what a person looks like that can finance a deal like that, you won't know. So you got to get going. But the hard way is figuring this out, is trying to go through. I encourage you guys, you got to find somebody, a mentor in your local area, you know, somebody that can help you get through. Do not try to go through all this stuff by yourself, especially if you don't do it for a living on the back end. I know people that do like certain components of it for their day job, but still struggle with putting it all together. But I think the other thing is not knowing your numbers. You got to know, y'all got to have your numbers tight. That I know people that, you know, they undershoot their renovation budget, then they get surprised. They get, you know, different contractor coming in like, man, you 20, 30,000 under your budget. He's like, yeah, nah, man. Who told you that it's going to cost 50,000? You're looking at 80K. And it's like, you don't know what you don't know. And so that's the thing, that you being able to lean on the expertise, you got to have that. And then, you know, the third bullet goes into the strategy. You got to focus on the niche, the riches and the niches. You got to get really, really good at certain components. And then when you get really good at something, then you can diversify and move on. But I encourage you to look at what you can get really good at. And I think at the end of the day that we don't have a lot of time. That time is the most precious commodity that we have. And the more and more that we trade our money for time, the less time that we're going to have in the future. And I think that's the thing that people don't realize, is the most expensive cost that you're going to ever pay this year is the cost of inaction. You not taking action is the most expensive cost that you have right now, because you could be doing so much more right now to be adding to your bottom line. That I think it was last year, Forbes was saying that the average fix and flip was 40K. If you flip one house, you can make an extra 40,000. What could you do with an extra $40,000 a year? That's just one deal. Think about if you did 10 deals or 5 deals. But not taking action is costing you a lot more than what you could be doing and adding to the bottom line. And I want everybody to kind of do that self-assessment and kind of think, hey, have I been sleeping on my life? Have I been sleeping on my family? Have I really not given it my all? Or have I not taken this thing separate? Everybody needs a side hustle. Everybody needs to start a small business. It's too easy because like we could all walk into our job tomorrow and like, you know what? It's been a good run, but you know, we move in another direction. We got to make some more money for the shareholders. Best of luck. We're going to give you a severance package for a month or two. And, you know, it's been good. And, you know, the thing is, I don't want anybody to be in that position where is that they only have all the eggs in that one basket. And then just for that basket to be bust wide open. That's not a good feeling. And I think that's the thing that we all just got to continue to do, that self-assessment. At the end of the day, I'm telling y'all, success ain't convenient. And, you know, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be tough. It's going to be days that you don't want to get up. It's going to be days that you don't want to go look at properties. It's going to be days that you don't want to answer the phone when the property management company calls you like, hey, yep, this just happened. But you got to do it. When I wrote my book back in 21 and went through that process, that my mom passed away kind of halfway through, it was devastating. And for about 2 weeks, I couldn't even write it. I was like, I'm done with it. You know, this ain't for me. But, you know, it was like, you know, everything that she poured in me and the man that she helped raise and build me up to be along with my dad is like, nah, you can't quit. We don't build quitters. And it pushed me through to the point to go through. And it's just like, it's super cool. You see the pictures of me posting with my book and stuff with people, but to be able to pour into people and to help somebody and change somebody's life just based off the words about my experience and the experience of others, it's been crazy. But I just want to tell y'all, it's like, you know, you need to build wealth today, not tomorrow. You keep putting this stuff off. You got to do it today, because I wish I had started buying apartments in 2010, where I could have retired in 2015 and had another 5-7 years where she could benefit from all the wealth and everything that I've done, the trips that we take and all that. But for me, it took me too long, and she'll never be able to, to witness all of that and to be there. So that's the thing that I want you guys to do, to take this stuff serious when you start talking about real estate and whatever it is, starting a business, whatever it is that you're passionate about, that that's going to move the needle in your life, that you need to be doing. Just do it, because the sooner that you can do it, the sooner that you can enjoy it with your loved ones, and the sooner that you will be able to kind of just live your life on purpose and not, you're not being completely reactive, that you can be proactive in doing what it is that you do. And so that at the end of the day, y'all, that's what it's all about. And, I always tell people, seldom in life can you be stretched to your full potential, but it's gonna have some stuff in life that's gonna have to break you. That it's some stuff that's gonna have to change you, and you're gonna have to go through some stuff in order to get to your stuff. And the sooner that you pick up that principle and you embody it, that it's nothing that's gonna come at you in life that's gonna shake you, that's gonna break you down. It may knock you down, but you're gonna get back up. It's nothing that's gonna hold you down long. But I think once you get that mentality, that you're gonna be good. That's enough about that. At this point, for you guys that are looking for mentorship, would love to have you on. I don't do like, hey, well, you just sign up on your own. You do have to go through a vetting process. We kind of listen to you, talked about your goals, and understand, make sure you're a good fit for what I do, because I'm pushing you to, I'm going to push you to success. That my goal is for you to get your next property in 90 to 120 days. And if you're not really serious about it, or you kind of half in, half out, then no. But I tell you this, if you're going by yourself, you open yourself up for more mistakes. It's going to take you a whole lot longer versus being able to have somebody that's been there, done that, that has the experience, that had the mentorship to go through there. Because my job as a mentor, as a coach, is to help you get there a whole heck of a lot faster. And you can talk to Reggie, with being able to pick up 96 units in less than a year from when he started in real estate investing. And that is powerful. And so it's able to be done, but you just got to show up and you got to take action. And we got proven systems in place that you guys, I basically put my business in a box, my fix and flip business that's running in Panama City in Alabama in a box, my multifamily process that we do to pick up, to buy these 4 apartments, soon to be 5 apartment buildings. And then separately from that, the whole raising money side of it. And then, at the end of the day, this is for somebody that's serious, that's ready to build a portfolio, that's got money in their 401k, that's ready to diversify and pick up some rental properties, or somebody's like, hey, I know I got extra time. I need to create a second side hustle job, maybe wholesale some, pick up some, doing joint ventures with people in the community. We got people that's partnered up where it's like, hey, I work all the time. I got money. I know you got some time. Let's do some projects together. So that's what it's all about, is just figuring out what you have with resource wise. Whether you have a lot of time, you got a lot of money, and then now figuring out who you need to align with to cover down in your weak areas in order to build a solid team. And, but you definitely got to be motivated and ready to go. And if you're not, that's fine. Continue to pour in yourself. And when you're ready, like the Chinese proverb says, when the student is ready, the master will appear, and you'll be good. But I think that's the biggest thing. So we talk about that with that whole process, the flow chart. We talk about the tangibles with all that, the details, the crossing the T's and dotting the I's with everything, from the processes, the systems, the marketing on both the single family and multifamily side, how to go through and put yourself in a position to be able to raise money. All that's included. And but the thing on the other side of it is the time freedom, when you're not being a slave for money. You're able to actually invest, and your money is working harder than you're working for it. And once you get to that position, that's where we all want to achieve that time freedom, where our money's working harder and we can take a step back and not having to work that hard, where we can spend more time with our family, we can travel, we can do whatever it is that we want to do. And that's what this program is all about. That's what it's all about, is being able to achieve that at the end. And just real estate is just a vehicle. It's the vehicle that we use to get there. So all that packaged up, the investment for that is $6K. That's what it is. Should be a heck of a lot more. The price is going to be going up later this summer for that. But for those that's interested, that's serious about mentorship, definitely reach out. I think Faye put up the link where you can get a strategy session. We can talk through it and just kind of see if it's a good fit for you, and then kind of go from there. Make sure you guys get the website link for the free book to download a copy of it, the PDF. If you want to get the hard copy, if you're old school like me, it is out there on Amazon. You can get a copy to get that off Amazon for the hard copy, but you guys can definitely download the PDF and get that. And that's it. We got 8 minutes left. Anybody got any questions? Drop some questions in the chat. You can come up online for those that's in StreamYard in the community, and y'all can come up online and ask any questions that you may have. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna drop that for anybody that wants to come up and ask a question. I'm gonna drop that in the chat right now for y'all. Yep, just grab that link right there, and then I'll pull you up so you can ask your question. Oh, no question. We got a shy crowd. No questions tonight. I see we got some. We got what to say. We got people on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Hopefully everybody was able to take some value. Okay, we got my guy Henry. Come on up, Henry. What's going on, bro?
What's good, Johnny?
Good to see you, man.
My man.
What's going on, man? I know I need to be asking you some questions.
Yeah, so my question is hey man, I'm over here following you, man, just living the dream, brother. I appreciate everything that you do, man. For real.
Man, most definitely, man. Thank you. I appreciate you and the action that you already taken, bro. Y'all crushing in Augusta, Georgia. Shout out to Henry, man.
Yeah, but my question though. So when it comes to bank financing, what is your strategy for getting bank? I guess to buy into your your ideas, because I know that banks a lot of them like to invest in real estate. So what is your strategy for convincing them to give you loans and things like that?
Man, no, that's a great question. Because the thing is, you got to understand that the bank is there to make money, and then two is to do it in a way where they're not overly exposed or they don't incur a whole lot of extra risk. And so one of the things with that is, one, you need to have a business plan when you walk into the bank, because the thing is, everybody comes in there saying, oh yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that. But you need to come in there and separate yourself from day one for them to take you serious, that, hey, you got a succinct business plan that's been well thought out. You got everything lined out on your market analysis, who your avatar is for your customer, how you gonna make money, what's your competitive advantage that you're bringing to the marketplace. And then, on the real estate side, you need to bring in like, hey, this is a potential deal, or this is our portfolio that we have already. These are the assets that we manage. This is our experience. This is my bio. And we talk about that, where you kind of go in with a slide deck and, a PowerPoint, and you give that to them like, hey, this is my company. This is what we stand for. This is our mission, our values that we stand for. This is our experience. And this is the area that we're looking to buy. And we're looking to partner with you, the bank. We're looking for financial partners, and look at this as a long-term. I know you guys are big about investing in the community, and you want to be able to give back and be able to invest in local projects. And so I definitely see this as something where we can build a long-term relationship. And like, hey, this is the most recent deal that we bought. We underwrite. Usually I try to achieve like a 1.3 debt service coverage ratio. And we always want to be able to come in with at least a 12% cash on cash return. It's like, hey, yeah, take a look at this. It's like when you walk in there, you start talking that talk. That's why you got to have the knowledge, and you know how to present it to them. And when you go in and like, hey, no, this brother knows what he's talking about. He understands the risk. He understands where we need to be at from a debt service coverage ratio in order to make sure that we have our margins. He's got the right credit score, or he has somebody on his team with the right credit score, and he has somebody with the right experience managing this type of asset. And once you align those things, then boom, you're ready to go.
Hey man, hey, those nuggets, man. They
That's it.
dropping those bombs, man.
And that's the thing. That's why we sit down and put the package together before you go in the bank. You sit down and put that together where it's like, okay, let's review everything. Let's have it lined up. Let's do a profile analysis on who's the decision maker at the bank. Let's talk to some other local investors. Let's see if anybody, because we can go into the record and see who all has closed loans with them and they got a mortgage with it. So now we can talk to these other investors that done deals with them. It's like, hey, can you give me a warm introduction to them versus me going in cold to the bank? Let me do a warm introduction to so-and-so. Like, oh, yeah, man, we go to church together. Oh, man, we frat brothers. That's my boy. And now you come in, he shake your hand like, oh, yeah, Bob already told me all about you, what y'all doing, how much money you need. I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's go. But that's how those deals, that's how that stuff happens. And so that's what I really love about credit unions, because it is kind of a little bit on kind of the hookup, the good boy network. But you just got to get in and just present yourself the right way and let people know you about your business.
Okay, so part two to my question. So this is like the worst case scenario if you don't have the hookup, right? And you're doing your initial, because I'm about to go to a couple of my local credit unions here in the
Okay.
next few days. So, um, so what would be like the intro, like talking points for my first meeting with them? Like, I want to set up a business account and all that. So, what is like the intro to like kind of get them on the brain working on what my vision is with them and how
Okay.
I can help them grow as well.
Gotcha. Have you confirmed that they do like commercial lending on the real estate side? I think definitely check their website out, verify that first.
Okay.
After you do that, like I said, give you that deal deck. Let's chat so I can send you over the PowerPoint so you can put that. If you want to have that presentation, you want to have something that you can leave behind with them on just your experience, what you've done, and just your business in general. Usually they're gonna want to see probably your last 2 years tax returns, and they're definitely probably gonna want to see your PFS, your personal financial statement. So you want to have those things together and ready. They may not ask for it. They're gonna need it when you get a deal for sure. But a lot of times they want to underwrite you up front. And so when the deal comes in, they want to go ahead like, oh, I already approved you for 2 million. You good. So now go shop, find something. So they may ask for those documents so you can walk in with them ahead of time with your integrity book about your business and present that. But it's really just a conversation. Just say, hey, how are things going? I want to introduce myself. We're definitely looking to continue to grow our business, and we're looking to for banking partners as well, and kind of just want to see a little bit more about the different products that you guys offer and see potentially if our business will be a good fit. And then you can just say, understand, like, I know the Federal Reserve just raised the rates a quarter point again, and I know the lending products are changing. Just kind of see how that's impacting you guys. So because the thing that you want to let them know is that you're an astute investor, that you know what you're talking about. So throw something out like that, that you're tracking the market, and just kind of see what they come back with on like what decisions they're making on their lending practices, or they tighten up like their loan to values, things like that can come out from that. And because you want to make a really good first impression.
Right. Right. Man, I appreciate you like always, man. And I'm definitely gonna set up that one-on-one with you.
Okay, most definitely, we're gonna get that done. All right, great question. Anybody else? We're right at 9 o'clock. I want to be respectful of people's time, but I will answer one more question if anybody else has another question. No more questions. Y'all have a great night. Oh, we got one coming up. Who we got? Oh, there he is. What's going on, bro?
What's up, man? What's up? Can you hear me good?
Loud and clear, brother.
Man, that's what's up, man. You did an awesome presentation tonight, dude. Look,
Thanks, bro.
yeah, you did a really good presentation. Look, I can't wait until we do the 96, man. That's gonna be real. That's gonna be really nice. Man, I just want to just back you up on everything you said. For anybody that's in the chat, I can't see the chat right now, man, but I think it's the time right now to take action, jump on the call, and see what your goals are and start taking action, man. This is the time right now where we're already I'm gonna say that we're already in a recession. They're not gonna say it, but you know, we're moving into murky waters. But it's a time where, um, you know, there's definitely deals out there. You know, I got a deal that came across my desk. It was like 281 units, but they want you to assume the loan at 3%. You know, and it's interest only, but turn around the principal, and you know what I'm saying. Then another 56 units down here where the owner ain't making no money off the deal and looking for some creative financing situation, working on that. So, man, it's the time to get the education now. Don't wait until this time is over. You had 95 recession, you had 2008, 2007, 2008, and now this is the time, man, to get in now. And, you know, this is going to, they say it's still going to be the biggest transfer of wealth ever in history. So this is the time, man, to really, really learn. And, you know, my own personal testimony, man, of being a cop for 6 years, after doing a few fix and flips and getting those 96 units, I was able to leave my job and do this full time now. I got a few flips going on right now, and looking at some multifamily units. So, I mean, it's definitely doable. It's definitely doable. So it's just time to take action and really put in that work, just like what Johnny said.
That's it, man.
Yeah, most
Salute,
definitely.
brother. I'm
Most definitely.
super proud of you, man. You crushed it beyond my wildest dream. When I started talking about mentoring people, and it's like, who would have ever thought, you know, the level of success that you've achieved in such a short amount of time? It's just mind blowing, man.
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. So I saw Henry Scott, man, he was asking those questions. You know, my best advice for, man, get into the community, get into the program and start soaking in that knowledge. Because one of the biggest things Johnny said
Oh
is
yeah,
that,
you know, Henry already tapped in.
yeah, okay.
Yep.
And so that's a perfect example, man. Like, you know, man, going to these credit unions, if you don't know what you're talking about, they'll have the conversation with you. But as soon as they hang up, they're gonna be like, man, that joke ain't finna do nothing. And how I know, because I talk to bankers, I talk to brokers, and they talk about people when they get on the phone
Yep.
with you, and
Sure
they can see right through that stuff you think you know what you're talking about. So get the education, know what you're talking about, knowing how to structure deals. There's not a script. Um, there's not a script because they're going to ask you questions that is going to come out of left field. You don't know the answer to. Some answers is called. It's fine to say, "Hey, I really don't know the answer to that." You know, I've never heard of that. You know, like the broker today was telling me, like, "Hey, man, have you ever thought about converting over some of these hotels to multifamilies?" Never done in my life. He said a few people are buying deals like that. I was like, I really don't know much about that, man. I'll do some research on that, you know. But I didn't say no, and I did let him know that's something I need to learn and things of that nature. But we built a
Right.
relationship enough to where he's cool enough with maybe even teaching me or give me resources. You just never know. You never know. I mean, these people turning over these little, what they call, these little motels with these
Yeah.
extended stays. They're turning over those little kitchenettes to multifamily. The city is permitting, letting them doing it,
Yep.
zoning it because they want that stuff out their communities, man. And it'd be some good value add for some investors. Am I going to do it? Nah, that ain't my bread and butter. Like Johnny, you got to put in 10,000 hours worth of work, man, and hone in on that particular skill. Then go to the next thing, man, if you want to. So, you know, but
Or
yeah.
build a team that got the hours.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, man. Even with me finding those units, man, the first thing I did was I thought underwrote it a little bit. I said, man, Johnny, I want you to take a look at this. And you know, Johnny was able to get the debt on it based on his experience. He was able to find people that trust him, that was able to invest. Me on the end, I found the property management, got the vendor for the contractor, walked them, traveling back and forth, you know, putting out fires and things of that nature, taking calls, sending emails and stuff, just being the ground guy, man, and walking through the whole due diligence. So it takes a team, man, and it's definitely worth it. So yeah, man, that's my spiel. Get the education, you know.
Most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I tell people, education without execution is entertainment.
Yeah.
And I ain't in the entertainment business.
Yeah.
But that's what's up, bro. I appreciate
Yeah,
you, man. That's it for tonight, man. We still a few minutes over, but I think it's definitely been good. Info, Andrew. No, most definitely, Andrew. Let's set up the strategy session, brother. We'll take care of you with the link there. The link there in the chat, and if not, then I'll shoot you a DM on Facebook. Get you signed up, brother. All right. Well, that's it, y'all. Y'all be blessed. Yeah, definitely. I enjoyed tonight. Hopefully, you guys took something away from it. And then I'll see you guys next Wednesday. If you're interested in the mentorship program, grab the link or shoot me a DM message, and we'll get you guys hooked up. Y'all have a blessed night.